want me to look at you or the camera?
You can look at me.
Okay, cool. I was definitely an 80s kid, so growing up with Atari 2600s at that time and also a lot of PC adventure gaming, and just always loved playing games and wanted to make them one day.
Yeah, you are good at computer games. So what do you know about computers?
If you're going to spend your time playing video games, why not play them on something that can also teach you about computing?
Nerd culture is just always on the cusp, or past the cusp, at the top, the zenith, if you will, of technology, entertainment, and so we're the first ones to bring that to the table.
People were just pushing themselves to reach new heights, and I feel like the 80s was just a time where everyone, I think, just stepped it up. I'm Chuck Brungart, CEO of Ilphonic, and I really just kind of help support the team, make sure they get the resources they need to make great games. I was definitely an 80s kid, so I think the immersive nature of games is something that was really important to me. Watching the technology grow and change, and how does that immerse you more and more into the world. The arm moving on Doom was a big immersion factor. The clouds and Quake moving, that was another one that really kind of brought me in. And then from there, it's just technology is getting so crazy that I think each new generation, you almost get sucked further into that world.
What's going on, guys? It's Cleo Thomas, aka Mr. Slick Living. We are live here at PAX East, getting ready for the Pac-Man 99 tournaments. What got me into Pac-Man was my parents, actually. By the time I played it in the arcade for the very first time, I immediately became obsessed. Nerd culture really blew up in the 80s because it was our first gateway really into what was coming next. You know, you gotta understand, technology had just really opened up to the world like that. And then when gaming just hit, man, here we are years later, 2023, and look, Pac-Man's still rocking with us.
Products started to be marketed in a particular way that hit home with kids and created that cult following and made us a bunch of mall shoppers. We had the idea to approach Topps, the IP holder for the Garbage Pail Kids, about doing the game that they never had in the 80s.
Get your grimy little hands on the most disgusting game ever made. Garbage Pail Kids, Mad Mike, and the quest for stale gum. Defeat.
It's a platforming beat-em-up adventure with tight controls, large-scale bosses, and 80s crude humor that made the Garbage Pail Kids what they are today. It's great to see the AAA titles, but the heart of PAX is really the indie developer and the indie studio that's on the come-up.
So I'm Alex, I'm the studio director and lead dev for Elsie.
So my name is Pedro, and I am one of the producer, artists, designers, just kind of general indie workhorse that has worked with Alex for the past 5 years on Elsie. At some point we decided to maybe bend a few of the pixel art rules, see how eye-grabbing we can make this game. This is the fourth time that Elsie has been at a PAX event, and every time it's always extremely helpful. It's also helpful in spreading the word.
Treachery Beatdown City is, I like to say, is a power fantasy of the oppressed. It's also a game that's built as a direct reaction to my own anxiety growing up in New York. A lot of the art style is inspired by Double Dragon on the Nintendo, because me and my friends, you know, black and brown kids in the city, it just felt like it had the vibe of where we were from. We like to say it's like Double Dragon meets Fallout's Vets. It's like 3 POC characters, and basically all the fights you get into, you don't want to be a part of. Like the cutscenes basically explain that someone says something, they do something, they try to touch your hair, they're inappropriate with you, so now I gotta fight you, I'm gonna fight back.
Moneybags News Network proudly presents your #1 source for your current events, of course, with a little of my commentary sprinkled in. Oh, we got a guest today. Before I bring him in, Beatdown City still wildin'. So grab a little snack, pour something cold, and just chill to the next episode. Come on.
So what I want to ask is why you guys think the 80s is when nerd culture really started to pop off? that's the home electronics era.
Yes.
Where you were sort of, if you're born in that era, you're born into that aesthetic and that concept.
But it's when high technology, I think, became democratized.
It's the hottest new fad in electronics, tiny TVs. Some so small they actually fit on your wrist.
Shopping is a pleasure when the surroundings are spacious and easy on the eye.
Right. You can have this a home theater quality experience in
SVHS.
where you live. Yeah.
We're talking about 480p. The truth is that the home video game, like home arcade experience, is being executed at such a high degree.
Yeah, but for like VR especially.
There were places that had that like ancient VR experience.
Yes.
With this incredibly heavy, I mean, it must have been 15 to 20 pounds.
It was just 2 CRTs. Set to the eyeball.
So thick, and you're standing inside of this like ring.
Yeah, I think it's like, I want to have a device that I know has only been on my head, and you touching my eyeballs.
But the crazy thing, and I think that you can see that at PAX too, is that the social part of the video game is also very interesting. Us being together and checking it out and exploring and investigating that space, like as a group of people, even if you don't know them, like for some reason, and there's some aspect
That's
of that,
what it
I
used
think,
to
as
be.
a show.
That's a performative, like a communal
exactly.
component.
It's gaming as a performance.